Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at Apple Music and compare it against Spotify and see which one is a better one for you in 2023. Now, as of right now, there are definitely some interesting differences between these two. There's not really one that's, I think, the perfect, well-rounded one for every single person out there. But I would say when it comes down to both of these, they have some really strong competition, and I'm definitely not opposed to switching ever in the future between one of these. My go-to music streaming platform is Spotify. I go to it all the time. It's the one I have all my songs curated on. But I will say Apple Music has been making some pretty big improvements, and because I do use an iPhone, Apple Music just kind of works out a little bit better for me. But I've stuck with Spotify pretty much since like early college, and I will say from that perspective, that might be the bigger one in my opinion that I'm going to recommend using, but Apple Music is a really, really good one as well. Now, the big difference here, I would say, is probably the free tiers. For a lot of you out there, you may not even want to spend money on a music streaming platform. Now, Apple Music does have kind of like a free trial, but even that kind of comes and goes. With Spotify, it's a consistent free tier. It doesn't give you that many features, but you do have that free tier there on Spotify that you can actually go ahead and use if you want to. Again, Apple Music doesn't really have that. They have that free trial, but other than that, there's not like a consistent free option where you can listen to it with ads or whatever. Like, there's just no way to do it. I will say also, it looks like that Apple Music's starting price is now more expensive than Spotify's starting price. So if you're going for the, basically the cheapest option between both without student discounts, Spotify is $9.99 a month, where Apple Music is $10.99 a month. So that is probably another kind of big thing to keep in mind here too. If you're somebody who wants to go ahead and basically use that specific, if you want to use Spotify, you're kind of saving $1 a month versus Apple Music. Now, it may not be the biggest difference in the world, but you should keep in mind too that a lot of the songs are pretty much going to be there on both these devices. Like, it's not like there's specific songs only available on Apple Music. I have heard and we've seen some cases where there might be like an Apple Music exclusive release, meaning that a specific song or album will be released on Apple Music before Spotify. But I also feel like I've heard things about Spotify exclusive releases too, so it's not really even that big of a difference there. But again, it is one of those minor things to keep in mind there too. Now, there's also family packages and student price discounts as well. But even with the student price discount, it is actually still more expensive than Spotify student discount. And even their family package, it's like all the tiers are like $1 more than what you're getting on Spotify. So, but again, that's not even that big of a difference. I would pay an extra $1 if it means that we're getting extra songs. And that is kind of what's going on. Apparently with Apple Music, you are getting apparently like 100 million or over 100 million songs within Apple Music. Spotify's is about 80 million songs. So although it's not like the biggest deal breaker in the world, it looks like there are several more million songs available on Apple Music than on Spotify. But with that being said, I listen to a lot of pop culture music, just a lot of the songs that are just available that everyone's going to listen to. And the thing with that is that with Spotify, I have never been in a situation where I try to look up a song and I was not able to find it on Spotify. Every single song I've ever tried to go ahead and listen to or download or whatever was always available for me on Spotify. And I didn't have to go through on, Apple Music and change. I've never ran into any issues there. The only slight thing was maybe like some leaks of songs or some like remixes, but those are never really available on any platform because they're just not legal. So really YouTube is the only place to listen to those. But within Apple Music and Spotify, yeah, there might be many more songs than Apple Music. But personally for me, I never really felt like that was that big of an issue. And I've always been able to find every song I could ever find on Spotify. Now, platforms is also another kind of interesting thing. So with Spotify, you're basically getting, you're getting a lot of songs, you're getting a lot of stuff built in, and you're also getting it available on probably more platforms. I feel like with Apple Music, it's available on all the Apple products. I think it might be available on Android too, but you are getting a lot more, availability on Spotify than on Apple Music. So that might be another thing you want to keep in mind too. It's not, again, the biggest deal in the world, but it is something I've been able to see. And again, at the end of the day, it might be something that might bother you too. So just kind of keep that in mind. But regardless, that's just been the one thing I've been able to see time and time again. Now, some people have mentioned audio quality. I really don't think audio quality is that big of a difference here either. I think it's, for me personally, I don't really care that much about the quality of the audio, but some people do. And it looks like with Apple Music, it may actually end up being higher quality than with Spotify, but now it looks like Spotify is going to be bringing a newer, more expensive tier. So that is also going to change a few things out here too, because if you're planning on getting Spotify Premium or the more expensive version of Spotify, well, that is actually going to be probably higher quality now than it would have been before. Is it going to match Apple Music's? I'm not 100% too sure, but that is one of the other things that we've been able to see within this version of Spotify as well. So between both, there's also a lot of, capability between both and a lot of similarity. Like I said, there's lots of songs overlap between them. You can share songs. You have beautiful overlays of songs and covers. You have basically you can access Apple Music on a library on a browser too, which is pretty nice. You can listen to playlists and podcasts. The design on both is very beautiful. And overall, I don't really think there's one that's significantly better than the other one. I think both are very good. I think both have a lot of capability, but I don't know if there's one that I would look at and be like, okay, this is the one I would recommend buying. I think there's a lot of similarity and a lot of overlap, but I think when it comes down to it, quite potentially, I look at something like Spotify, and that's still the one I'm probably going to recommend getting. But again, there are ones like, Apple Music that are still very good. And if you want to try a free trial, you can always go there too. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.